Welcome back to another pen talk. Welcome back to a very special pen talk. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for finding my channel on YouTube and hopefully enjoying my exploration of the wide world of pens. And before you is a pen that I've had for a few days. I got a very nice package from Leonardo pens, and I was a little overwhelmed, I have to admit, but I got the courage up, inked up this pen with some Leonardo ink, put nib to paper, and I now have my most incredible nib of 2022. So without further ado, let's see the nib in action. Wink, wink. After the writing, let's zoom in a little bit on this amazing mango resin in this Momento Zero pen. I'm impressed. The resin is definitely unique, definitely has some Arco visual traits with those different layers and the way that it's machined. So we're going to explore this pen, visit the nib writing again, and hopefully you can appreciate the pen as much as I do. Yes, it's being held up by a frog and not a cat, and I think the crab does it wonders. He will wink at you. Leonardo does engrave and number most of their pens, but it's very subtle usually and not in the same place all the time, so it's hard to see whether this is actually coming out the way I would like it to. But it's Leonardo Officina Italiana number 515, and that's the mango one that I have. Let's appreciate this amazing resin. Mango is an appropriate name. It's made up of layers, and very similar to the other Momento Zero resins, and we'll see the Hawaii one a little bit later in another video. But it's just full of dimension, full of subtleties, and just really catches your eye. Fit and finish are excellent, as one would expect. The cap comes off with less than 1 1/4 turns, and we'll see that section, which I've gotten to enjoy more and more that I use it. And the hit of this is that incredibly well ground cursive italic nib. And of course they started with a broad labeled on the side. It's a standard cartridge converter, but it has that ability of using the extension of the converter coming through the end of the barrel, so you don't need to take off the section. I wish they would have knurled this a little bit, which some people do, because it's a little bit slippery, but it works. I tend to open it up because I like watching the ink go into the converter. As you can see how long that converter is, and it is full of ink because I had to write with this pen as you know. Nice metal piece here in the section. You got metal on plastic threads, but that doesn't bother me. If it did, I'd put a little silicone grease on there just to make certain that there was minimal friction between them. But they go together very, very nicely, and it is very secure. So I hope this resin is coming through on the camera. I tried different approaches to show the depth, the range, just a very excellent way these all work together to make a beautiful writing instrument that you enjoy looking at as much as you enjoy writing, which to me is the epitome of the writing instrument. So what ink to put into the Mango Momento Zero but a Leonardo brown ink. Noce Moscata. As good as I can do with that. Nice bottles, well designed, functional. Always appreciate that. And you can see what appears to be a smear of ink there on the label, which is very nice. The color card came out on the reddish brown side, but certainly very saturated in a matte finish to the ink. No sheen. The chromatography also shows a nice reddish brown. That little spot is just from another ink transfer, so ignore that. But that shows off the red component of this brown ink more than the card does. But the real key is, how does it write? And as we saw, it writes very, very well. Here we are comparing the Mosaico with Momento Zero. And it's obviously the same resin. It appears to me, after they do the layers and they slice again this way, put that together and machine it into the Mosaico model. It does have all those same colors, just in a different orientation. And the colors come out a little bit differently. In this one, the model is on the back of the cap. Leonardo Mosaico 394. So they're not consistent, but I like the fact that they're subtle. And I definitely am grown to like and enjoy this mango color much more than I originally expected when I saw them on the internet. So now it's time for that editorial comment part of the video review, followed by some more writing. And yes, wow. So I have grown to love this pen more and more. The more I write with it, the more I want to write with it more. As much as I fall in love with other pens, this one really combines some incredibly excellent aesthetic qualities with a phenomenal nib, which I just enjoy using. And the Leonardo ink is very, very good. I'm impressed with it. Great flow, great saturation, a little bit of shading, just what you need. We'll give you the dimensions of the pen so you can put that in perspective. And Leonardo pens are all good size, so it sits fine in the hand, uncapped. Feels good, the weight's nice. The one thing that I find about this metal in the back is it could be more weighted towards the nib. The center of balance is a little bit higher now because of that metal. And it does post fairly deeply and fairly securely. And it does change the balance even more. So, yes, it can be posted, but it's not a pen I would post to write with. All in all, I'm just incredibly pleased and very fortunate to have been able to have this pen in my hand and to write with it, and to show you that custom ground cursive italic nib from Leonardo. Look for them showing up on the website. They are saying that they're going to sell them. Let's keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Let's have some closing writing. Yes, another 10. How could I not give this pen a 10? It gets 2 checks for just being very well made, incredibly great eye candy and visuals, but also a beautiful writer. So the best combination of everything. And I just enjoyed picking it up and writing with it. And that's why it gets a 10. And that nib gets 3 checks because this is one of the best nibs I've written with, and I've written with quite a few. And that experience happened from the first time this nib touched paper. I've written on different types of paper, and all of them just feel so great. And I also want to put more flourishes in my writing with this nib, which is always a good sign of a great nib. So we're coming near the end of this video. Thank all of you very much for watching. I wish you could find a pen that you can enjoy and love as much as I just fall in love with this one. And there's more Leonardo pens for me to fall in love with, so it's going to be hard to top this one. Hope this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy. Enjoying your pens, enjoying putting ink down, enjoying everything you do. I mean, that's the fun part of life. We've reached the end. Nib just feels great on paper. And we're going to say bye. Stay tuned for more Leonardo pen videos.